After this session, you can share it with the group, the recording.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So, Jose, are you recording?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. This is breakout room 11, and we are going to have three presentations today, very inspiring ones. And we're going to have Abdallah Ashley first, and then Jose Ronaldo Alves Arroyo, and Pia Vimer Furian. Yes, she's here, so welcome. And we are recording the session. And when you have a question, please post the question in the chat box. Alternatively, you could use the raised hand button when we have the discussion session, so then you can ask the presenter if they have any questions. And without further ado, then I will hand it over, I think I can, to Abdallah, and then you may start the presentation, and I will let you know when you have 3 minutes and then 1 minute left.
Okay, thank you. I make share for a presentation.
Jose, if you have the permission to record, you may have the permission to allow.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
One minute. Okay, good evening. I'm Abdallah Asli from Israel, student for PhD degree in Babus Bolli University in Romania. My supervisor is Professor Marcia Giuliana. My research subject, teacher attitude toward thinking mathematics and its application in other disciplines. Why? Introduction. The attitude of mathematics teacher toward teaching mathematics is very important and greatly affects the quality of teaching mathematics and affects the student and his attitude toward mathematics. So teacher positive attitude toward mathematics lead to student positive attitude toward mathematics and vice versa. It means that there is a strong connection between teachers' attitude toward teaching mathematics and the quality of mathematics teaching. And the positive attitude of a student toward mathematics are low and faint because of the attitude of mathematics teachers toward the teaching of the profession. Therefore, there is a strong belief among many teachers that positive attitude need to be fostered among new teachers in order for this to positively affect students and their attitude toward mathematics. Research methodology. Research was conducted in Israel in this year, and the aim of the research, the study aimed to find out teachers' attitude and opinion of teaching mathematics and application of mathematics in other disciplines from post-primary schools. One minute, excuse me. The research instrument was a questionnaire developed for this study and aimed to find out teacher attitude and opinion on teaching mathematics and application of mathematics in other disciplines from post-primary school. The questionnaire has questions from demographical question and question related with the aim of the research. From the question related with the aim of the research, There are closed question and open questions. Participants: 221 mathematics teacher from both primary school, mean of age 41.1 years, and mean of years experience 16 years. The demographical of participants are listed in the following table. And we conclude that 2/3 of the participants are female teacher. Most of the participants are Arab, because most of the residents in the North Israel are Arabs. And almost half of the participants have BSc degree and half MSc degree. And almost of as regarding of the level of the participant, teach more than half of them teach in high school and the other teach in the middle school. Data analyze. The question were quantitatively analyzed using SPSS program. The results include a frequency, percentage, mean, and standard deviation. A teaching math attitude test was also filled in by the participants. The statistical tests that we use are t-test and if-test, one-way ANOVA, correlation, and factor analysis. Data analysis continue. According to the factor analysis of the 31 items of the questionnaire, we conclude that there are 7 factor solution using principal axis analysis and Varmax rotation, resulted in the best distribution of items into identifiable subscales. The 7 factor categories of teacher attitude as follow: mathematics teaching anxiety, satisfaction of teaching mathematics, bad feeling, confidence in teaching mathematics, confident in teaching mathematics, and I explain the difference between confidence and confident, worries in teaching mathematics, and feeling support. Some of the results: there are correlation between the variable and factor attitudes. The most important of these correlations are: young teacher feel more anxiety in teaching mathematics, and teacher who feeling bad and worries more anxiety in teaching mathematics. We continue. Teacher with excellent level of computer control feel more satisfaction, more confidence, and more confident in teaching mathematics than teacher with middle and low level of computer control. Teacher who worries of teaching mathematics have an anxiety of teaching mathematics and feeling bad in teaching mathematics. And teacher who confident in teaching mathematics, feeling support in teaching mathematics and satisfaction of teaching mathematics. Example of the correlation at the following table. For example, the correlation between confident in teaching mathematics and feeling support, confidence and feeling support. Teachers who confident in teaching mathematics feeling more support than teacher that don't confident in teaching mathematics. And as we see in the table, the other correlations.
Abdallah, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay. Summarize. The result of the study show that there are positive attitude and negative attitude of teacher toward teaching mathematics. There is a close connection between positive attitude of teacher surveyed toward teaching mathematics and there is also close connection between the negative attitude of teachers toward teaching mathematics. I want to explain the difference between confidence and confident in teaching mathematics. Confidence, that means controlling of the teacher in the material, and that teacher confidence in the material. But confidence in teaching, that's means sure in teaching or assertive in and know how to teach mathematics. And that is, thank you. If you have any question?
Abdallah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the chat if anyone posted a question. Not yet. So anyone would like to ask anything? I actually wanted to ask you about the confident versus confidence. Thank you very much. You answered that before I could ask.
Excuse me?
No questions posted. You did mention that there are correlation between negative attitudes towards teaching and positive attitudes towards teaching. Is there a list of negative attitudes, or what kind of correlation you found?
I found that the teacher have negative attitude and positive attitude toward teaching mathematics, and negative attitude for teacher that led to negative attitude for student in teaching mathematics, and the opposite.
Oh, so
teacher,
it's sort of
teacher with positive attitudes that led to positive attitude for student, and vice versa.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it sort of transferred their feelings to students as a result of how they were
Yes.
with maths. Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
next.
Actually, I do have a question. Sorry, I wasn't just quick enough to type it in.
Sorry.
Abdallah, sorry. I just wonder, where are you going from now? What are your next steps in your research?
The next step.
Yes, the next step you're
Okay,
taking,
okay.
or have you finished now?
No, I don't
No,
finish the
no.
next step.
So
And
where is your next step?
the next step to check and to research the attitude of teacher toward the teaching application of mathematics. That if teacher teaching application of mathematics, that is improve the motivate and improve the achievement of student and improve the teaching of mathematics methods and strategies and so on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Sounds like a good plan.
I'm
Good
sorry
plan.
for the technical problem in the starting. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jose.
I stopped share. Okay.
Thank you. So Jose will be very good. You're already starting. Thank you very much. So the floor is yours.
I think your micro is not on, Jose. Your micro.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. So hello, everyone. I am Jose Ronaldo. I am Brazilian. I'm PhD student in mathematics education at Montreal Catholic University of São Paulo, PUC São Paulo. In Brazil, my advisor is Serena Bar, but I'm currently staying in Linz at JKU. Here, Professor Schout-Lewiska is my advisor in this moment. Yeah. So my work, my research is about the transnumeration, specifically statistical think. Yeah, but I studied GeoGebra contribution to transformation. In this case, I studied about the graphical analysis of data. Yeah. Next. So, oh, sorry. Little about the context in research is about the statistical education. I include for it technological resources and for develop the technology in statistics and statistical education. In this case, I am interested for transformation. I chose some specifically object in statistical education, graphical data analysis. I use GeoGebra because there is a possibility I see is a possibility for graphical analysis. Specifically for about the transformation, I research about the graphical representation of data. In this case, I use GeoGebra for it. A justification for my research is specifically for Brazilian context. Yeah, for example, have some authors in Brazil that we saw about there aren't research in statistical education that talk about the technological research for this competence. Yes, for so in other files we can see in Brazilian curriculum, because for example probability and statistics some use context representation and the statistical indices to describe and explain to predict phenomena. Yeah, in this topic is include technology, because technology, but we discuss about it in Brazil. The inclusion of technology for the identify potentiality of research of this nature for the performance of activity related to our areas of technology. In this case, I am interested in statistics specifically. Yes. How I problematic context. Yeah. My master degree, I developed some activities I applied for students in high school. Use GeoGebra for a specific object. In this case, I developed an activity for central tendency measure. Yeah. In this case, I saw the data representation, the values found for metrics on their properties, implicit or explicit two representations is important resource for the answer in the for questions. Yes. Other ideas about the representations contribute to power of arguments. So students use representation, use the graphical charts for argument your opinion, your decision about some context, some problem. Yes. Little more about the visualization of the data visualization. Some ideas, new ideas for me. He put the connection between statistics and visualization and computational technology. In this case, my research has been inseparable. In this case, I put technological research for statistical education. I think is a possibility for discuss about this affirmation. Yes. I have in this moment as question, but I think it is possible I can change this depend of my reflection or yeah. So in a context of data analysis so graphical representation, what contribution of GeoGebra can be for transformation? Yeah. my objective, for example, I think is a possibility to identify and analyze GeoGebra contribution for transformative think, yes, or skill for to transformation, yeah, for transformation is a specific objective for my research, yeah. Now I talk about the transformation. So what is a transformation? Yes. In this context, transformation is a dynamic process of change representation in general, and this process is developed for generate understanding about the data, the history of data. Yes. In general, transformations is a process in three phases, three stages. Here, first, the students they can capture real world measurements, reorganize and calculate of data, and finally communicating data through some representation. In this moment here, I think is more. I think I have a hypothesis in this moment. More useful representation of GeoGebra for communicated some affirmation, some decisions about the data. I have a methodology and procedures. This.
Jose, you have 3 minutes.
Okay. So I use this idea, investigative cycle, because in general, in framework for statistical think have this idea, because when I will put activity in statistics, it's possible that students develop this cycle. Yes. So finally, in conclusion, in analysis, in organized data, students can be used GeoGebra or other softwares. I think is a possibility for my research. Finally, yeah, I think yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So let me see in the chat if anyone asked.
I have
so now we can.
Sorry, I have 1 minute more. Yeah. It's low because.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because now I mentioned I put only transformation, but now I have another idea. I think we can discuss more about the data visualization, because I think now I read some articles have made some articulations about these two ideas. Yeah, I think is other possibility for my research. Thank you.
I want to ask, I can?
Of course.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. First of all, I want to ask, I don't understand, how do you analyze the data? This is a quantitative or qualitative analysis?
Yes. Thank you. Good question. Thank you. In this case, my research, in general, I applied pretest where students choose some data set in specifically websites about the specifically problem. In this case, was about the Brazil context, pandemic context in Brazil. Yeah. So students choose some variables in the data set and develop made some representation in GeoGebra. In general, this treatment, this process is quantitative, but my question for students relatively is analytical about the results. For example, students we saw that have many new cases in last day. Yes. Idea is a quantitative idea, but my question is more about the critical for context. Yes, for example, why have more case in less day than in comparison for Austria, for Israel. Yes. So have a possibility when students develop quantitative analysis, I put question that students they need critical ideas about this data specifically, yeah? Because transformation definition about because the definition about the transformation essentially is a representation for provide the understanding of context. Yes.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? I'm checking the chat. Thank you very much, Jose.
Thank you.
We can,
Thank you, Adela. Thank you.
and may I invite Pia
Yes,
for next
certainly,
to present?
certainly. I try to share my screen with you. Is it there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, out of field teaching. It's yours,
Yes.
right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I'm so sorry seeing you mathematicians there. I'm not a mathematician. I'd like to do my research in general education. And more precisely, I'm studying at the JKU in Linz. And I am a teacher in Austria. And the thing is, I've only just started, and I'm very, very sorry. I do hope that I will not bore you to death now, but I'd like to just tell you my first steps, which are only actually baby steps. So what am I doing? Actually, I would like to ask you a question. At school, when you were at school, were you being taught by a professional, by a teacher who actually knew what he was talking about? Or were you taught by someone who was actually an out-of-field teacher, meaning that he hadn't studied the subject? I do not know whether my geography teacher knew what he was talking about. I don't know whether he was a specialist. We all don't, do we? Thinking back, I don't know whether my teachers had studied the subject or not. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been able to tell. Anyway, so this is exactly what I'd like to look into, the difference between an out-of-field teacher and an in-field teacher. What are the reasons of out-of-field teaching, first of all? We all know it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's a worldwide phenomenon that there are out-of-field teachers everywhere. And the reasons are simple and looked into. There are budget cuts, it's poor school management or teacher turnover. They just leave school for whatever reason. They go somewhere else. And so we know about the reasons. Enough research has been done in that field. And also there is some research as to the impact on the teachers who are doing it. Like, we know that for out-of-field teachers, it's extremely overwhelming. It's stressful. It can be frustrating because they cannot actually teach the subject they had studied. But there are also positive sides, like they broaden their horizons because they have to actually learn something new in order to be able to teach it. So what I'd like to find out, what is the difference between an in-field and an out-of-field teacher? I'd like to look at the decisive factors and give a realistic definition, if possible, for either of them. what characterizes an in-field teacher, what an outfield teacher? Can we actually tell the difference? This is what I would like to look into. And of course, being an out-of-field teacher, you have to compensate. You have to compensate all the lack of knowledge. Well, the knowledge that isn't simply there because you haven't studied the subject. So I'd like to have a look at the compensation measures teachers, out-of-field teachers are actually taking. And my last step will be, how do pupils perceive their lectures given by an out-of-field teacher? And last but not least, I'd like to find out if it does make a difference, if there is a difference between being taught by an in-field teacher, out-of-field teacher, because if there is a difference, we are talking inequality here. We are talking about inequality in education. So this is why I'm doing it. And my research question is at the moment, my most important one is, does out-of-field teaching have a negative impact on the education of the individual pupil? So here I am, not any further. I'm afraid this is all I can give you because, yeah, this is how far I got within the last few weeks, and I only started a few weeks ago. My next steps will be interviews with teachers. I myself have friends who are doing it. So, and then I'd like to, yeah, ask pupils and also monitor a few lessons. So these are my next steps. And yeah, that's mainly it. And I'd like to thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, it's not more than that.
Pia, thank you very much. I got very excited when you started your presentation, and let me grab this opportunity to offer my help. Because
yes, please. Oh, it would be lovely to get some help. Yes, please.
Because I am a mathematician and I'm a maths teacher, but I actually teach economics.
No way. Okay. There we go.
It is not completely unrelated. So there are obviously links, and I did study a couple of semester economics, macro and microeconomics, but I'm not an economics teacher per se, but I've been doing it for a good couple of years. So maybe I could be of help.
Oh, please. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe I may contact you in, you know,
and you know, you had really good points for how stressful it is for the teachers and overwhelming. And then you actually rightfully mentioned the horizon element, broadening my own horizon, because that was one of the main reasons I was really into the idea. So when it was offered for me to teach economics, I thought about it for 20 seconds.
All right, okay.
Because I knew the basics. I was quite confident with that, and there was only one element I wasn't really comfortable with, but still, it is not my first field. So.
Andrea, I think you've given me an idea there, because I think there is a difference between if it's something completely different or if it's related to your subject. Like in your case, it's actually related, which is, I think, a little different to, well, like if I had to teach history all of a sudden and I have no idea of history.
Exactly.
That's a very good point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because we use models, and then especially in microeconomics at high school level, we use diagrams and we establish basic economic models and use those models and along with the diagrams, so it is related to mathematical thinking, and then there are a lot of assumptions, but then that's where the difference comes in, with reflecting it to the real world situation in economics, whether what we read in articles, how is that relate to the model we built. But,
would you say that you have actually put more, well, you had to put some more effort into preparing your lessons than if okay.
Yeah, but I didn't mind ever.
You didn't mind, okay.
No, no, the reason is because I was actually in search for something different, because I love maths, but I always wanted to teach it with a more applied way of teaching, and I found it in economics, strangely. So because I was in search of applying maths and then teaching it more from the application point of view, it really fit with me and my.
And you were interested in it,
quest.
definitely. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it still fits your topic, because it wasn't. I'm not. Maybe I could say now I'm an economics teacher after all these years. But
oh yes, you're an expert now. Yeah. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you. So just let me know when I can be of help, and I'm actually really interested
very
in
much.
how you're going with this.
Thank you, and thank the others for listening.
And I would like to ask the others if they have any questions or additions or offers like I did.
Yeah, they're very welcome. Yeah, I'm guessing it's particularly it's not main subject. I think that are taught in out of field, but subjects are like, I don't know.
Well, there is a shortage of economics teachers, and you know, and well, mainly because when they think, like, when they are good at economics, they tend to leave teaching because they would use it somewhere else, maybe financial motivation or other, just not into the teaching element of it. But I used to teach in an international school, not now, in my previous one, where they were quite open to use out-of-field teachers for Key Stage 3 subjects. So year 7, 8, and 9, it was quite common to teach, I don't know.
That's another thing. I think
it's very much history teachers, for example.
Yeah. So you said year 7, 8, 9, because it's exactly those years I would like to look into, 10 to 14-year-olds, because I think later on it's really difficult to teach something you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do have some experience on that, and I might be able to connect you with other people.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I will come back to you, I'm sure of it.
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Let me just see the chat. If someone posted a question,
I don't think
to your topic. Or anyone else would like to? I'm not sure I see raised hands, and I apologize. So if you have any questions, you can just start talking.
Well, I haven't given you much food for thought.
Well, you did for me.
And you, thank you so much. I will definitely come back to you, Andrea. Thank you.
Please do. My topic is different, but it's still.
What is yours?
Mine is similar to Jose's, actually. We just figured it out not so long ago. That because I teach economics, I would like to focus on what I'm actually focusing on. How you could. What was it? Because now you put me on the spot, so I have to think about it.
Sorry.
But it's how to represent mathematical data, maybe from articles, how to represent it and make sense with numbers in economics. So there's a lot of statistics and data there, and then I found that students struggle to connect the mathematical knowledge they have to bring it to economics. Okay. And then I talked to the psychology teacher as well, and there's a lot of statistics happening in there. And then they also found the same, that students found it difficult to transfer the knowledge they have there from maths to this more applied field of physics, or psychology or economics. And so that's what I'm focusing on, is sort of making sense with numbers. It's very similar to Jose's. He's focusing on the GeoGebra element, and then from a more maths point of view, and I'm focusing on it from a more real life example point of view, from economics point of view.
Well, I was very impressed by Jose's presentation, because I'm not a mathematician, and how you were presenting it, I think I understood what you said, and it was really, really enlightening, Jose. So keep going.
And
Sounds good.
Abdallah's as well.
Yes,
because when you look
Abdallah's
at
as
it-
well. Yes, but he's-
Exactly,
oh,
with
yeah,
the very
he's still-
detailed maths behind
Yeah.
it with the SPSS program. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
I'm just checking one more time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone, any questions or comments?
About the recording, next moment I will share for you. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't
Sorry.
quite get that.
About the recording, I will share for you the. Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you. I didn't have the button, so I couldn't really do
Okay,
anything.
okay,
but
no
thank you
problem.
very much for helping me
No problem.
out with that. Thank you so
Good.
much.